Okay. What did he say?
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and get started because we've got 14 people that are going to say something to you today about their particular charities and organizations that we as Kiwanians are going to help this year. If you'll remain seated for just a minute, this is a great day to be a Kiwanian. Children need Kiwanis, and Kiwanis needs you. And thank you for being with us today to make this a splendid occasion. Let's start out with our defining statement. Kiwanis is a global organization of volunteers dedicated to improving the world, one child and one community at a time. Pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now for our song. Clay, do you have a song for us today?
I certainly do.
Clay, I hear you. There you are. Okay.
We are going to sing Happy Birthday to the February birthday people. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kiwanians. Happy birthday to you. And let me say a special happy birthday to Bill Whitley. Today is his birthday. Bill, are you with us today? Oh, Bill's off celebrating it somewhere. And then on the 4th, we have, golly gee, that's so small, I can't read it there. We have Mike. And then on the 4th, we also have Martin. And we have, gosh, I can't read that. That's blurred on that side from here. Okay. And go down the list, we've got, and then another Mike again on the 14th, and that takes us through at least next week. Happy birthday to all of you, and thank you for being a part of Kiwanis. Our prayer today, and let me call on Ty Hartwell for our prayer.
Let us pray. We come together in this meeting, bound by a common purpose and shared sense of unity. We acknowledge our presence, God's presence, and we're grateful for the blessings that have been brought us here. As we gather together, we are reminded of the importance of community, fellowship, and pursuit of common goals. We ask your guidance and wisdom as we navigate challenges and opportunities that lie ahead. May this gathering be a testament to our shared commitment. May it serve as a source of inspiration and strength for each of us for the greater good. We also remember those who could not be with us today and those facing adversity. May they find comfort and support in their time of need. We also pray for all the innocent people in the war-torn areas around the world. Pray for the sick and starving. Pray for all the children and the families who are caught in the middle. We pray that their pain and suffering will be eased. Lord, bless this meeting, the conversations and connections that take place, and the bonds that will be strengthened here. May our collective efforts lead to positive outcomes and make a meaningful difference in our community. Finally, thank you, Lord, for this food before us. Bless those who prepared it and those who are sharing it with us. May it nourish our bodies and bring us together in gratitude. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. You may be seated. Well, I hope you enjoyed your meal today. This is the second time that Catering Works has prepared a meal for us. As you know, that our longtime caterer can no longer cater, and what we're doing, we're bringing in different caterers. They're going to serve for 2 weeks each, and then the final decision will be based on you. There are some 3x5 index cards on your table. Please write on those cards what you think of today's meal. Now, although they did the one last week, and maybe you did a card last week, put down what you think of this particular meal and any other comments you have about the catering. Next week, we'll have Joni Collier, who is a personal chef. She'll be doing her first visit. Followed by that following week, she'll do another visit. And after that, we have Chelsea Cafe, Rocky Top, and Empire Eats. So we're going to have a group of folks coming in, and I want to thank our committee headed up by Charlie Sawyer and my friend Mr. Tyson over there, the two of them together working. And in addition to Jason and Charlie, we've got Meredith and Stacy, Robert, Hugh, Grady, Robbie, April, and John, and I as ex officio members. So thank you all for what you're doing. I think this is a good way to do it. It spreads the cost out, and it gives us a taste of different food and an opportunity to see what we've got. How about, do we have any announcements about the golf tournament? Andy, anything on the golf tournament? He just left, okay. The golf tournament is planned for May the 2nd at the Noose Golf Club. We had one person to come forward as a sponsor this morning. If you want to be a sponsor of the golf tournament, please see either me or see Andy. Also, in addition to that, I thought I had one other important piece of info here. And I do. KC, thank you for what you're doing for putting together the indoctrination group, and we have indoctrination sessions for our new members. We encourage all of you to bring new members in. Our next indoctrination or orientation, or what's the difference in an orientation and an indoctrination? If you came from the country, you wouldn't know the difference. But I guess I'm the only one that came from the country, okay? The orientation session then, we have one on February the 22nd, another on March 21st. So thank you so much for doing that. Are there any membership welfare items? Yes, sir. Today we are giving out our awards that's given out by the awards committee. The folks that meet with all of our potential recipients, they talk to them, and then they select a group to come in. And I want Amy Funderburk, who's head of our foundation, to come forward. She's going to run this part of the show. And what we would like to do is for her to introduce to you our recipients for this year and let them introduce themselves to you. Thank you all for being here. And Amy, thank you and your committee for what you're doing.
Thank you all. Can you hear me okay? I always have to worry about microphone positioning given my height or lack of it. So I'm Amy Funderburk. I am the president of your Kiwanis Foundation this year. First off, I want to thank our board members, in particular June Small from last year, for the work that she did and everyone else did for the grant making process. Just a few things about the grant process. That's the main function of the foundation. And you'll notice this year that we've got about 14 recipients total. Not every recipient is here today, but that's fewer than we've perhaps had in the past. But what the foundation has really looked at is where we can have an impact. And sometimes a greater impact can be had by giving a little bit larger grant to a little bit smaller organization and really have a larger impact for that organization. It's been great to serve on the foundation. I have greatly enjoyed it. So as I read over the grants, and I'll tell you a little bit about what I'm going to do today. I think you scared the grant recipients a little bit. What I'm planning on doing is introducing the grant recipients. I'm going to very briefly introduce them and have them come up and get their check and stand with me. I will only say a little bit about each one and just barely scratch the surface on the wonderful things that they do. After we're done presenting the checks, you'll have an opportunity to ask questions of the particular organization. I know that some of y'all have volunteered with the organizations. You may be on the boards of those organizations, but you'll have an opportunity to to ask them some questions. Okay. So as I read over the grants, I was very struck by how well each grant recipient really meets the mission statement of Kiwanis. Just help me out. Let's say it again. What is the mission of Kiwanis? Kiwanis is a global organization. Tears. One community at a time. So again, I'm just really going to scratch the surface today, but it's amazing how much each organization fits that purpose. And one of the other things that really struck me as I was reading their websites and reading the grant submissions was how big of an impact these organizations would have had on me as a child. I could have used some of these services. I had family members that could have used some of these services. Certainly had friends that could have benefited from the services. So our first recipient, and we've had some shuffling in who will be coming up. I know these are very busy folks, so I've got some contact names for who had planned to come today. Those may change a little bit. But our first recipient is Boys and Girls Club of Wake County. John, come on up, John. How many members have volunteered with the Boys and Girls Club?
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. So Kiwanis has a very long-standing relationship with the Boys and Girls Club. We're very familiar with the programs they do. In particular, when John and I spoke about the program, I was very struck by how you have different clubs for different age levels, and one of the older age group really works on bringing the younger kids in. So I was really struck by how they are not only providing a benefit to these kids, but they're also teaching these kids how to improve their community and how to provide services in themselves in the future. So thank you very much. Okay. All right. Community music in schools. I'm sorry. Or community music schools. We have a little typo. Come on up. You may recognize this face from December. If you were at that meeting, I understand there was a song. She has said she's not going to sing today. I am disappointed. I'm going to miss that. But your organization provides music lessons to children in the community who would not otherwise necessarily receive those services. And I believe our grant is going to provide some assistance towards instruments.
Yes.
Yes. Again, this is a great program. I think we all recognize the benefit of arts in the schools, and all recognize those have been some things that have been cut from the schools. So I'm very excited about your program, and I appreciate you being here. All right, and Gigi's Playhouse, we have Matthew and Michelle Schwab. Okay. Thank you so much for coming, Matthew. Gigi's Playhouse, their goal is to change the view of individuals with Down syndrome in the community. This organization struck a particular chord with me. I have an aunt who had Down syndrome, and I can tell you from experience, there were not a lot of Gigi's Playhouses in the 70s and the 80s. So I loved seeing this program and knowing what it could do. And our funds will go to the kindergarten readiness program for rising kindergartners to help with transitioning into the school system. So I'm very, very excited about this program. And our next program is Helping Horse. And we do have a couple recipients that weren't able to make it. But come on up. So, and Jeff, and if Mary's with you, she can come up as well. So Helping Horse is unique in that it provides equine-assisted therapy programs to special needs children and adults and veterans and first responders. Of course, our focus is on children, but thank you. It's wonderful to see those programs for veterans as well. I think this is also, in my mind, an example of what our grants can do. A lot of times when you're talking about grants to these wonderful programs, you think about direct services and you don't think about the nuts and bolts of literally keeping a roof on the building. And these grant proceeds will go towards repairing the roof. And sometimes you just don't think of, oh, to actually run the program, they need shingles in the roof not to leak. So I'm very happy we could help you with that. Hope, let's see, Hope, oh, they were not able to make it today. Learning Together, if you could come forward. So I didn't talk about how we do the grant selection process, but the grants come in, thanks so much for being here. The grant applications come in and a member of the foundation board speaks to each grant recipient. And I did not speak to y'all this year, but I spoke to them last year. And I was really impressed by the services that are provided. They have typically developing young folks in the program, along with children that have developmental delays, and run the program concurrently. It was a great model. Way before I was a lawyer, I was a child development major and did mental health case management, and I loved hearing about this program. I hope things are going better for you. 2 years ago, they suffered some pretty significant setbacks. There was an explosion in one of their buildings, and I was really impressed by their resiliency of how they pivoted and made sure that their program was going to keep functioning. So next we have Loaves and Fishes. And Joe, if you could come on up. So Loaves and Fishes, again, provides a wealth of programming for children. And I think your mission statement is you empower under-resourced K through 12 youth for life opportunities. The mission is to get the community behind the kids to lift them up. I love the holistic approach you have. And I'll say, again, this is another one of those circumstances where you don't really think about behind the scenes what you need. You guys need a new van. So we're able to help towards that van. All right. And Benji with Miracle League of the Triangle is here with us. This, again, really, really neat program. You create positive life experiences for children and adults with special needs through baseball. There you go. And these funds will be used to go towards equipment. And again, I stalked a lot of your websites if I hadn't spoken to you directly, and it was really interesting reading about the type of special equipment that is used, like reading about some of the balls that you get that I guess chirp for kids that may be visually impaired. So I really enjoyed learning more about the organizations. So next we have the North Carolina Reading Services. May, are you, hey there. So North Carolina Reading Services provides exactly that, reading services. Thank you. And they'll read a newspaper to help visually impaired folks and children be able to access materials that they wouldn't otherwise be able to access. And I haven't stalked your website yet, but I think I'm going to be listening to some stuff on the way home to get caught up on some news while I'm in the car. Note in the pocket. Y'all could come forward. So Sarah, thanks for being with us. You may have noticed, there's a little sign at the front table. So a note, there you go, thank you so much. It was just one, right? Okay. I want to make sure. The rubber band was on there, it threw me off. So a note in the pocket provides, and I think this is an important qualifier, quality, good condition clothing to children. And that just has a huge impact on kids when they look good, they feel good. Again, loved reading about your mission. I do want to mention in particular, we will be taking up donations next week. So if you're going to be here next week, please bring some gently used or new condition clothing to donate to a note in the pocket. And in particular, I'm going to ask at the end that you let us know what you're looking for. You know, if you need pants or socks or underwear, so we make sure we get you what you need next week. Okay, prevent blindness. Marcia. So I got an opportunity to talk to Marcia when we were doing the grant applications. Thank you. And this was one of the organizations where I just kept thinking, you do how much with how much money? You know, it's really, and I think that goes for a lot of folks. Prevent Blindness trains nurses in the schools to do vision evaluations for children. You pretty much train everybody that does them to catch kids that have visual impairment in the North Carolina schools. It was striking to me, again, how you pivoted during COVID, where you couldn't really do the in-person trainings anymore. They started doing some online training and making sure that people could be trained remotely. And it was one of those, there weren't a lot of benefits of COVID, but this was one of them where they were able to change their delivery model, get more people trained. Our grant will go towards purchasing some of the software that will be used to evaluate the trainers, which I thought was very, very cool. Step Up Ministries. I don't know if they were able to make it today. Oh, there you are, okay. This is Kristen, thank you for being here today. Step Up Ministries also provides individual case management services and takes a holistic approach to children and adults to make sure that the individuals they are serving have what they need to thrive. This year, they sought a grant to serve 90 children and 200 young adults through their real world program. And their overall mission is to provide pathways for people to overcome the barriers that are facing them. Thank you. All right, and our last group today is We Care. Let's see. Come on up. And this is Lori. Lori was someone else that I was fortunate, thank you, to get a chance to talk to as part of the evaluation. And again, really neat program because you take 2-year-olds, keep them with the same teacher in an early education environment for 3 years, and they move through the program, ton of services that are provided at no cost to the family. And our grant is going to go towards replacing car seats. Again, one of those nuts and bolts things where we're having a huge impact with the foundation for a needed item that you don't really think about. Oh, it's a child care facility and the car seats are going to expire every couple of years. Every 7 years, you got to get 10 new car seats. Yeah. So think about for your kids and your grandkids, car seats expire, and anybody that's bought one knows they are not cheap. So I'm very, very happy we were able to provide that as a service. So I told them they didn't have to prepare remarks, but that our members would likely have some questions about what their organizations do. And I thought that might be a good way for y'all to get information and not to put anybody ahead of each other, but again, note in the pocket, we're gonna have you guys here next week. Could you tell us a little bit about what particular needs are we gonna have?
Hi, good afternoon. For those of you that may not know, we accept clothing and shoes of all sizes, infant through adult. We don't often get as much adult size clothing, but many of our middle school, high school students are wearing adult size clothing. Tends to be more casual school type clothing, less on the business professional wear clothing, but we would love your day-to-day casual wear clothing in adult sizes. And we only give out new socks and underwear, and we're always in need of men's and women's size new underwear. And we plan to clothe 11,500 people this year. So we greatly appreciate your support. Thank you.
I promised I wouldn't run us over time, and we've got a great amount of time. So, yes, sir.
Do you accept, and this is a serious question, Chris, do you accept shirts with different colleges, different schools on them?
Yes,
Well,
we.
somebody gave me a Carolina shirt and I got to get rid of it.
Yes, we do accept, we will take your Carolina, your Duke, Wake Forest alum, so I'm happy to take all your Wake Forest stuff. We will take local college, university, professional sports teams, any shirts that are branded with a business
Right.
or a local high school sports thing. We'll recycle those
I really
items.
have a lot of Meredith shirts, seriously. I have a granddaughter who played softball and I must have 20 Meredith shirts.
Wonderful.
That won't fit me exactly either. So.
Thank you.
So an observation and a question. The observation is when Jim Valvano won the national championship, he started a clothing line and he sold t-shirts. And at the Belk's Basement store, one year for Christmas, my wife bought my brother a t-shirt that was a Jim Valvano t-shirt. And she left on the price stickers, $19.99, $15.99, $9.99. Got it for 99 cents. So that's a different comment. I would offer this up to any of you to just and take 30 seconds apiece, a minute apiece if you'd like, and tell us maybe a goal that your organization has for this year. Something in your strategic plan, something you're looking forward to or want to accomplish this year. It may be a number of people served or whatever. Thank you.
And I can kind of come around the group if you'll raise your hand and let me know who wants to. Oh, Matthew.
So one of the things that we at GC's Playhouse are doing this year is to emphasize on our relationships with our participants, but not only that, but we are tapping into different parts of the Down syndrome community. We're actively doing a South African event, and we're also doing a Hispanic group, because this is one of the things that we love doing, because we have people, our participants having Down syndrome, which are in those ethnicities, and which they don't get, either they don't get any or they get not a lot of resources. So they come to our playhouse and we do this thing called a Taste of Gigi's, where it's a whole event where we showcase them a few of our programming, existing programming for them, and bring resources over so they can know what our resources are. So we're working on expanding our reach that way.
Thank you, Matthew. And Matthew is with Gigi's Playhouse. Appreciate that. And Liz, did you have a comment as well? Sure. And Liz is with North Carolina Reading Service.
So in case you don't know, we are a nonprofit reading service. We've been there 40 years, and we read to an audience who is blind, low vision, or has a print impairment. And like all broadcasting, our methods of delivery have been developing along with technology. You can hear us many, many ways. One way is through apps. You can listen on your smart speaker, just say play the North Carolina Reading Service. But one of our goals this year, what we hope we can accomplish, might not be this year, might be next year, is developing our own app to make it easier and more accessible on people's smartphones. So that's a goal we have this year. We are available on some apps. Tune in, you can find us there, but we would like our own just to make it one click less that people have to do.
Wonderful, thank you. Anyone else want to talk about a goal for this year? Okay, Casey, and I probably should have said, nobody got hurt. Casey is with Learning Together. Nobody got hurt when they had the explosion in the building.
Yeah, we were able to transition to Edenton Street. That's where our primary operations are now. I think our strategic planning, we have been in the early learning space for over 50 years. We have seen a lot of adversity and under-resourced families come throughout our program, which is why we're really trying to move into the systems-based advocacy and family advocacy systems. We employed a family advocate that works with family that hopefully connects our families with all of your wonderful resources up here. So please, if we've not connected, let's do it so we can make sure that you guys are within our network of programs. But also looking at how that we can better equip our kids prior to the age of 5 to build equity through education, and doing that through a kind of a systemic change or an advocacy-based lens. So if you have the capacity or the interest of doing that, I would love to connect with you today as we're just starting to explore that with our team in the last couple years.
Thank you. Okay. And just make sure, Lori with We Care.
Thank you. As Amy told you, we take a group of kids when they're 2 and we keep the same kids for 3 years with the same teacher to give them that place where they feel comfortable and they can learn. And then they graduate and go to kindergarten. Well, we have decided that we would like to start a mentor program for the children that leave our program, because we keep them in this wonderful, safe little environment and then we throw them out to the wolves, right? And so we want to make sure that they feel taken care of and supported in the next phase of their life, that their parents have the resources and someone to walk alongside them as their children enter public school. So that's our goal.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to talk about goals for the year? Okay, Dawn? Oh, sorry. Dawn is with Community Music School.
Thank you. Well, one of the goals that Community Music School has this year is just to expand our reach. And we're currently looking to build our satellite program at our newest satellite school, which is Fox Road Elementary School. They used to have a music program years ago. They have no instruments. This is going to help us a great deal because Community Music School will outfit that music program with instruments, and we have a teacher that we have hired that is a daytime teacher at the school that will be training the students. And we're also, I would also like to take this opportunity to announce our annual Tom McGuire fundraiser at the A.J. Fletcher Opera Theater at the Martin Marietta Center on May the 15th. Through our board members' ties, we have the keynote this year will be jazz artist Marcus Anderson, who is from the Raleigh-Durham area. He graduated from NCCU. He has played with Prince, Stevie Wonder, Shaka Khan, and many other people. And so I invite all of you to come out. The suggested donation price is $100 for the ticket. If you have any sponsorship, we have sponsorship opportunities for those that would like to sponsor the event, and I can send more information to Amy. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Would anybody else like to talk about a goal? Okay. And Marcia, you are with Prevent Blindness.
Thank you. So as Amy said, we have been serving children and adults across the state for many, many years. We do lots of direct screenings, vision screenings and trainings across the state. So we have a very large impact, and we do our very best to screen as many and serve as many people as we can with what money that we have. So we've been very fortunate and grateful for having the ability to save vision across the state for many years. So one of our goals, current goals, is we just recently went through a strategic plan, and through the interviews that our consultants did with some of our partners and some of the groups that we work with, they said that they heard more than once that we are one of the best kept secrets in North Carolina. So while we appreciated being valued, we do not want to be a secret across the state. So that is one of our goals, is through that strategic plan, is to not, I mean, we're very program and getting our goals accomplished and doing our direct services, but we also want to be able to make sure that we do better job of education and awareness, because we hear the stories every day of people that we screen and the parents of kids that we screen that had no idea their kid had a vision problem, or adults that just take their vision for granted because they haven't had an issue until then. So we're trying to make it a larger impact and larger awareness so that people are not taking their vision for granted, and that that's something that you take care of before you start having the issues.
Thank you. Oh, I'm gonna, oh, Joe with Loaves and Fishes.
First of all, when your 2, 3, 4-year-old kids are ready to roll, we'll take them. Loaves and Fishes over the last year has begun a collaboration with an out-of-school program in another part of our town. We primarily work with African-American kids. They primarily work with Hispanic kids. And this goal, our goal this coming year, is to strengthen and expand that collaboration. It would allow us to be working in 3 different sites and add as many as 70 new kids to the program.
Great, thank you. Thank you so much. And Sarah, you are with Note in the Pocket.
Yes. So I wanted to share that just last month, a few weeks ago, we opened our new location in Durham. So we are very excited to have a physical space in Durham to begin serving or continue serving Durham children and families and expand our reach across the triangle. But one of our other big strategic goals that we have this year, we feel that clothing security nationally isn't something that people are addressing. And we often receive requests from communities and organizations from across the US asking about our mission and our programs and how we did it. And so we're developing a toolkit and an online resource website where we will be basically open source sharing our model, how we built Note in the Pocket, and inviting others to join us in our mission to end clothing insecurity.
Excellent, thank you. And we've probably got time for maybe 1 or 2 others to tell us. So Jeff, and Jeff is with Helping Horse.
Thank you. Helping Horse, for those who don't know, has been around since 1989, so well over 30 years. We've never had our own location until a month or 2 ago when we signed papers to acquire the land we're currently operating on. So our big goal this year is to figure out how to pay for it. And so we've already engaged a group to work with us on how to go about doing that. So that's our big goal. But I got to tell you, a grant like we just received is going to go a long way to helping us keep all of that operating and working. And so from the bottom of my heart, we thank you.
Thank you. And I think we probably have time for 1 more. Oh, no, we've got 2 left. So we'll, if they don't throw us off the stage for going over time, please go ahead.
Hey, Chris. Yeah, I'm John Welch with the Boys and Girls Clubs. I'll be quick. Thank you for the decades-long support that the Kiwanians have provided to the Boys and Girls Clubs, your volunteerism and funds and everything else that you provide, our Christmas party every year, helping kids who are the most challenged in our community to hopefully escape that cycle of poverty. So thank you for all that support. I would be remiss, I think, in not mentioning that our very long time executive president and CEO, Ralph Capps, who we lost last fall, had great plans in place for us to grow this year and to grow in the next few years. And we are sticking with those plans. So you're going to hear a lot more about Boys and Girls Clubs. You mentioned Fox Road. We're looking at an opportunity to significantly expand the Brentwood Club to a location on Fox Road and several other places around town. And if you're interested, I'd love to tell you more. And thanks again for your support.
Thank you so much.
Hey y'all, I'm Kristen Zerbato. I'm with Step Up Ministry. And so just to give you a little bit about Step Up, we help people, whether they're single, whether they're families, overcome barriers to transform their lives. So we start with employment. We teach them how to get jobs because that's what we need for stability, right? And then after that, they can join our 48-week-long life skills program where they learn about financial literacy. They're paired with a mentor, and then they learn about social emotional learning, trust, communication, and if they have families, their children are required to come with them. So it's a full circle, full benefiting program. The children's program, the kids are learning all the same things that their parents are learning, just at little people level. So they're learning about financial literacy. They're learning about wants versus needs, how to save their money. We have they earn step-up bucks, so that way they can spend their step-up bucks quarterly. And so really similar to other people's goals, we've been told we are a great kept secret. And so this year, the last couple years, we've been super intentional about outreach, marketing, and just making sure that Step Up is at those important events and getting to events like this. So thank you guys so much for your support over the last couple years, because it helps us go a long way from, being able to keep staff, being able to have case managers to support our participant load, which has been growing, which is great. So, again, without Kiwanis, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. So thank you.
Oh, yes, Nick.
Room that teaches teenagers volunteerism and philanthropy themselves. And so tell the folks about how we're going to teach the next generation to think like a lot of the people in this room.
Yes, so we have a very robust student leadership program, our teen board and our ambassadors. And each year we have about 100 Wake County high school students that are a part of that program. And each student is required to complete volunteer hours, host clothing drives, support our fundraising efforts, and help to raise awareness for our mission and work in the community. Our teen board meets monthly, and they are grouped and paired with a mentor, a community volunteer of ours, and they have a different focus each month where they, as students, are learning about public speaking. They're learning about how to share their story, their passion for serving the community, but, also skills that will help them as they look to their next education journey or their job journey. We're teaching them a lot of how to do that in technology with LinkedIn. I know a lot of our high schooler students are getting on LinkedIn even earlier. So really how they can use their hands-on work with us through volunteering and hosting clothing drives. Several of our teen board alum have gone on to start their own nonprofit and continue their work in their post-secondary education. So we have a great student leadership program that we like to share as well.
Thank you. And here comes with the hook.
Well, let's thank Amy for all she does. And let me thank all of the Kiwanians, these people especially, for being here today. Let me say to the Kiwanians, each year we move money from the Kiwanis Club over to the Kiwanis Foundation, and we raise money for the Kiwanis Foundation throughout the year. So these grants that you've just seen come from you and your families and the people that you impact. So it's very important that you get to see these people, that you tell them to keep up the good work and let them know that we are real people and they can come to us anytime they want us. So we do appreciate you very much. Thank you for being with us today. Thank all of you. And there are little posters on the table about a note in the pocket. We're collecting some clothing for those folks. And also there are 3x5 cards on the table. Please put down your comments about the meal today, because this is how we're going to decide who we're going to hire as a caterer. We need your input. So if you don't have a 3x5 card, let me see your hands and we'll get some to you. But thank you for doing that, and thank you for being with us today. Meeting adjourned. Thank you. Good to see you again. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.